Hello everyone, and today we will speak about shutter speed. What is it and how it affects to your photo? Shutter speed exists because of the camera shutter, which is a curtain in front of the camera sensor. That curtain stays closed until the camera fires, and when camera fires, the shutters open fully and exposes the camera sensor to the light that has passed through your lens. After the sensor is done collecting light, the shutter closes immediately, stopping the light hitting the sensor. The button that fires the camera is also called shutter or shutter button because it triggers shutter to open and close. Shutter speed is the length of time the camera shutter is open, exposing light onto the camera sensor. Essentially is how long your camera spends taking a photo. This has a few important effects on how your images will appear. When you use a long shutter speed, also known as slow shutter speed, you end up exposing your sensor for a significant period of time. The first big effect of it is motion blur. If your shutter speed is long, moving subjects in your photo will appear blurred along. This effect is used quite often in advertisements of cars and motorbikes, where a sense of speed and motion is communicated to the viewer by intentionally blurring to the moving wheel. Slow shutter speed are also used to photograph the Milky Way or other objects at night, or in dim environments with a tripod. Landscape photographers may intentionally use long shutter speeds to create a sense of motion on the rivers and waterfall, while keeping everything else completely sharp. On the other hand, shutter speed can also be used to do just the opposite, freeze motion. If you use an especially fast shutter speed, you can eliminate motion even from the fast-moving objects, like birds in flight or cars driving past. If you use a fast shutter speed while taking pictures of water, each droplet will hang in air completely sharp, which might not even be visible to our eyes. Most modern DSLRs and mirrorless cameras can handle shutter speeds of 1 to 4 thousandths of a second at the fastest, while some can handle even quicker speeds of 1 to 8,000 per second. On the other hand, the longest available shutter speed on most DSLR or mirrorless cameras is typically 30 seconds. Most cameras handle shutter speed automatically by default. When the camera is set to auto mode, the shutter speed is selected by the camera without your input, and so are aperture and ISO. However, you can still set the shutter speed manually if necessary. By setting the camera to shutter priority mode, you choose the shutter speed and the camera automatically select the aperture. By setting the camera to manual mode, you choose both shutter speed and aperture. And of course you choose ISO. With both of these modes, you can choose to set ISO manually or automatically. In most cases, I recommend letting the camera select the correct shutter speed for you. Still, watch to be certain that you aren't introducing too much motion blur in your photo or freezing motion if you want it to be blurred. So that was it for this video, and I hope I learned some new beginners what is shutter speed. In the next video we will speak about aperture, what is it and how it affects to your photography.